Hey, what's up, my friends? Welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Victor, and I help people navigate through their awakening process. And first, I want to apologize. I missed a video yesterday. I've been kind of under the weather. I've had a cold, and we've been driving for the last 3 days straight, basically. And today, I'm not really quite set to do an awesome video. Well, this is going to be good, but you know what I'm saying, not my usual, it's not going to be my usual style. It's going to be a Q&A video. I just wrote down a bunch of questions that people have been asking me in the comment section and on my Instagram page and stuff, and I'm going to answer some of those questions for you. I'm going to bring my wife in. I haven't really told her any of the questions. If there are any that she wants to chime in or she knows something about, then she'll help us out as well. But that's what's going to go down today. And then the next day, tomorrow, will be another normal video. I got some good ideas planned, just haven't really had time to shoot them. Okay? So question 1. This is from the username Richie Rich. It says, how do I manage my work? They work at a crisis center, they explain, and they just feel so discombobulated. And they just, on their off days, all they really can do is sleep, and they have no energy. They're barely like... They say because they're so empathic that their job is just like draining them to the point where they literally do nothing on their off days. So they work and suffer, and then when they come home, they just are sleeping the whole time. So what do you do? So this is a situation a lot of us find ourselves in, where there's a job we have, and because a lot of empaths have always been empathic, but now we're becoming more and more and more empathic. And there can be a bit of a jump, a bit of a spike in your empathy level, where all of a sudden you're like getting by, you're a little more sensitive, you suspect, but there comes a point where you become extremely sensitive, like over the top sensitive, and then you realize a lot of things that you're in your life, especially like a draining, demanding job, it can just be like too much for you. So on one hand, I would say, regardless, you'll adjust, you'll adapt. I was like that too. Remember, you never went through that too much, where you were like that exhausted, huh?
Oh yeah, I did.
You did?
When I worked at the first like hair salon I worked at, because my boss was like nutso and crazily like overworked me. I would go like to your house, and I would just be so exhausted. I'd just want to cry because I was just like done.
Right. Okay. Okay. Forgot about that. So on one hand, you'll get better naturally. There again, it's common to go through a period of extreme sensitivity, and it can last a little while, sometimes in the years. But you'll eventually get to a point where you're just as sensitive, but you're just not so. You become able to like hone your empathic skills, where you're not always taking on the world's energies. You learn how to kind of preserve your own energy and tune out other people who are draining you and that kind of thing. At the same time, you could oftentimes look at being exhausted in a situation as a sign that that's not really ideal for you. It's not in harmony with your new, if you're way more empathic, by definition, your vibration has raised, and who you are now vibrationally might not be compatible with where you're working, and you might be happier somewhere else, and you can use that as that negative feedback as a way of pushing you into a positive direction. But in the meantime, say for example you like your job on some level and you don't want to quit, then you just have to kind of honor the stage you're at, which is a temporary stage of extreme sensitivity where you will be drained more, and then you got to treat yourself accordingly. If you have to sleep on the weekends, then sleep. That's okay. Get more rest, meditate more, eat healthy foods, find time for exercise. Really take extra good care of your body and honor, again, the transient stage you're in, and know you will come into balance again. You look like you have something to add, love?
Yeah, I think also finding what helps you disconnect and like leave work at work, whatever that is, whether it's like go for like a 10-minute walk before you come home, or like listen to an audiobook on the way home that's like totally not having anything to do with your job. That might also help you to like leave work at work, and that will allow you to disconnect when you're at home, and you can actually relax when you're there instead of being in your head thinking about like the clients you're dealing with at work or whatever it is.
this is for Professor Time, and this is a bit of a complex one. I do have videos about this, just for your info. It says how to overcome addiction to porn, drugs, food, that kind of thing. So I would say that there is not going to ever be a book or a video or a paragraph or something someone says that's going to automatically make you able to just stop your addiction. Addiction is a very heavily layered manifestation of deep core issues. It's just a surface level manifestation of some sort of inner misalignment that's been learned. So the whole idea is, how do you quit addiction? It's you go through a rigorous path of self-discovery and find out, what are you getting out of the addiction. There's a reason an addict uses. You got to find out why that is. And oftentimes it's not like, oh, I found it, now I'm done. It's like a heavily layered lifetime of pain, unfortunately, that can cause an addict to use and value that state of being, which is more of like a numbed out sort of, a numbed, distance from your emotions sort of state of being, over just reality, real life. So what is causing you to desire that escape? This is coming from an addict. I was a heroin addict, and she had her own addictions to alcohol and cocaine and whatnot. So do you have anything to add? I go on I could probably make it whole. I talk about it for an hour. I'm not going to do that, but maybe you have something to add that might be helpful.
Well, sometimes it's not even like pain. You can experience one thing, but someone else might experience the exact same thing but react differently and not become an addict, because their conditioning that they grew up with is different. So it might be pain that caused that, or some sort of traumatic event that caused that, but it also could just be sheer conditioning that you absorbed from family members, parents, uncles, aunts, anyone that you're close to, friends that you grew up around. It could just be something like, oh, they did this, and then when you were little you made a mental note of it, and that's all it took for you. It just depends,
I agree. What I said was a bit oversimplified. I agree with it, and even beyond what she says. So I'm going to try to give you, this is something I would tell people who are struggling with. I have coaching clients, and some of them pick me because I'm a spiritual guy and I was an addict. So a decent amount of not a decent amount, but I've had quite a few clients that struggle with addiction. And I never tell them, listen, as your coach, I want you to stop using drugs or stop doing this. I don't ever do that. I give them other things that will make them have that choice on their own. So what I'm saying, and this sort of works with dieting too, I try to my training clients, is don't just cut yourself off of sugar, cut yourself off of porn, cut yourself off of drugs. It's start doing other things that will change you in a positive way to the point where you decide on your own. So find other things that you can do that will be like healthy. Start exercising, eating healthy, meditating, try to find some sort of sense of purpose, some sort of thing to go for in life, something to really work towards and build towards. And if that all starts to pick up momentum, it'll get so great to where you realize this addiction is really holding you down from all these other things that are improving your life. And then it'll be more of a natural decision to stop, rather than, if you have nothing else going for you, then it's going to be very difficult, because you're just going to be depressed, because you're not going to have a lot of meaning in your life. That was what I would always, this is the advice I would sort of give people when I was really young and I kicked heroin. A lot of my friends were like, dude, what have you done, man? I was like 20 years old and I was free of the dope, and they could tell there's been a change in me. And I would always tell them, I had to build up enough momentum to where my life was so good that going back didn't make sense. But when you get really deep into an addiction, your life can be shitty on so many levels, to where it's like, that's all you got. That's all you can do is get high. What the hell? Why not? You're suffering every second of the day. Otherwise, well, what I did, I went down to Florida. I made some new friends, and I got a fun job, a valet job on the beach there. And we just had a real fun job, and I got myself back into shape. I was really healthy. I hired a personal trainer, even though I didn't really have any money. and I just was taking all these supplements, and I really got to a point where I did enough self-growth. I felt good enough. I just felt like my life has improved to the point where it didn't make sense to go back to drugs, because I knew that would rob me of all the progress I made. So that's kind of, we can go on even probably more, but I'd say that suffices. Unless you have anything else that popped in your head. No? Okay, we're going to move on. Good luck with you, though. I know it's not easy, man, but you can do it. This next one is from, I think her name is Janice. She says that her twin flame is in Vegas at a bachelor party, and she asked if I could send her some good vibes. And she said, you and your wife seem pretty happy. Did you experience pain with your twin flame? What? We don't... What are you laughing at?
I'm just laughing at when you went to that bachelor party.
Yeah, there was a situation just like that, where I went to a friend's bachelor party, and my friend he had like friends in high places, they could say. Like, he was like I'm not going to say a famous person, but it was like a professional hockey player, and it was like this whole big bachelor party. So my wife knew it was kind of like quite a blowout, quite a big gathering. So what, you want to say something?
It was a bit traumatic for me at the time, but you gotta move on from that experience. You can't, hold on to that forever, right?
Yeah,
and he didn't do anything that violated me or himself in our relationship. So for it was just like the idea of knowing what he was witnessing was actually more challenging to accept than because he didn't do anything that obviously.
And for the record, I don't really condone, I don't judge anyone in that situation, but it's not something I care to witness, quite honestly. I felt a little bit out of place myself. Anyway, I'm going to answer this question on a little bit more of like a deeper level. So, on one hand, I don't necessarily think of her as a twin flame, and she thinks the same way as me. We don't really care about the labels. I feel a soulmate resonance with her, right, babe?
Yes.
I see that definition really causing... There just seems to be so many strong attachments to what a twin flame implies, and it just...
And sorry to cut you off, but there's so many different things that you can read about that, like that give a different definition, and it's like when you're reading things on the internet, they're just going to give you basically opinion.
Don't pick
there's
your nose, dude. You're on camera, buddy. It's fine.
There's no you just go by what you feel. There is no right or wrong. If you want to call your person your twin flame, that's cool. We choose not to put that label on our relationship, but that doesn't make it any different than anyone else's who's got a strong soul connection. I don't know if that even was coherent. I got distracted.
Yeah. And even more so, I would say, like, to her question, do soulmates or twin flame relationships, is there like struggles? I think the way she put it, do you experience pain? Hell yeah. And I said this in other videos. A lot of soulmate connections they come into your life to catalyze growth, and growth is challenging oftentimes. So when me and her met, we had so many issues that we both brought to the surface in each other, and it was incredibly stressful and chaotic at the time.
Yeah.
And we still work through stuff. Thankfully, as the years have gone by, we've worked through a lot of our big ones with the help of each other. But just like your awakening process brings to the surface uncomfortable aspects of your consciousness that you've been sort of pushing away, the awakening brings it back up, and you face it, and it sucks, but then you get to let it go. That happens in a very accelerated way when you meet your twin flame or your soulmate. You help each other grow and ascend a lot. So yes, there's a lot of pain and suffering, but it's all an investment. It's a wise, I don't know how to put this, but it's a good thing. It's good. You can look at it in a positive way, that you're helping accelerate each other's spiritual growth. So, anything else to say to that? We'll probably talk about twin flames and soulmates all day, but...
Yeah, I think you pretty much summed it up. each other. So as long as the respect is still there, you know, the mutual respect for each other in the relationship, as long as that's still there, I think that you can get through just about any sort of issue that you might have.
Yeah, I honestly, I think people would be better off, generally speaking, if they just treated every relationship as a relationship. What's important about a relationship? Not the name, not the label, not whether it's technically your twin flame or not. It's about the love, the actual experience you have together. And I think imposing definitions can really cause unnecessary stress. There's not much to gain from labeling her as a twin flame. There's more to gain, in my opinion, by saying, you know, I don't care. I love her. She loves me. There's ups and downs like any relationship. And as we work through them as consciously as possible, we've grown closer. Our love has become more deep. If at the end of it all we die and say, you know what? She was never your soulmate to begin with. I don't think as a soul I'd give a shit. Right? Anyway, so we'll move on from that, right?
Yeah, we'll have
Okay, somebody asked that it said they have pressure in their head and ringing in your ears. I've had that. I know how if you don't really understand why it's there or the benefits of that, then it can be a little concerning. You know, have you had that? Yeah.
I get ringing in my ears all the time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I find it best just to ignore that. I've come to a place, man, this road's kind of bumpy.
Yeah, this one's very bumpy.
Okay, so real quick, and this is all speculation. There's so many people who have such a cocksureness about this is this. I don't know. I feel I have a healthy skepticism, but from my understanding, from my own experience, the ringing in your ears and the pressure is from the energetic transformation you're going through. It's from the Kundalini energy, the Ascension energies. It's doing its best to integrate and assimilate with our physical body, and there are just manifestations of that process of integration. It can be ringing in your ears, pressure in your forehead or any of your other chakras, and a million other things. But I find that trying to figure it out, stressing about it, trying to prevent it, that makes it worse. I try my best to accept it, let go, and whether it's something going on that, I just find it best to kind of chill about it, right?
Yeah.
It's an inconvenience at times, but what can really make it a problem is when you freak out about it.
Yeah,
what's wrong? Oh my God.
Yeah, when you focus on it, it's like law of attraction style. It just makes it more intense, you know?
Exactly.
I did that for weeks. My heart chakra was like opening up even more so, and I had this pressure and pain in my chest, and I started freaking myself out so bad I gave myself an anxiety attack, and I went to the doctor for it, and the doctor was like, okay, yeah, why don't you just come back in a month and tell me if you still have it, because there was like nothing wrong with me, obviously, but it made it so bad that I'm thinking I'm having heart attacks and I'm gonna die, and it's like just
right. When I was in high school, this was like, I can see in retrospect it had to do with my Kundalini kind of opening, but I took this like designer psychedelic drug, and I had a really intensely negative and scary trip, and then for months afterwards I had that crazy pressure in my forehead for months, and it didn't go away, and I had no idea what the hell it was. I thought I took some kind of drug that screwed my brain up. In retrospect, I can see now it was the exact same feeling as the Kundalini pressure, but I festered. I was so concerned about it, and I ended up going to the doctor myself. I had my parents take me to the doctor. I made up some story why I needed to go, and I got EKG, and I got checked out. I felt like I had melted my brain. That's what I told myself. I said, you took some bad hallucinogenic and you melted half your brain. That's what my adolescent mind thought. So it was a terrifying experience. But again, when that same thing happened later in life, when I knew what it was like, oh wow, this is kind of annoying. I'll go for a walk. It was just a same exact symptom, but my experience of it was significantly different just by chilling out. So my advice is to chill out, man. A lot of people, I get questions almost every day about ringing in your ears and the pressure. It's very normal, and I know it's kind of weird, but just chill out, man. You're fine. A lot of people are going through that. Okay, last question, folks. This is from one of my subscribers. She said that she actually emailed me. She sent me a link to some videos from some Dolores Cannon style, past life regression therapists. And there's a bunch of people finding that these people who go into these trances, they're coming out and saying like there's some big like celestial type of events that are coming up at the near, they gave specific dates like December, I forgot the dates, but there's a few different dates this coming December. And she was like, what's your take on this? So my personal take, it's that whether that does or does not happen, it's wise to, it's almost best to ignore that, in my opinion. Because say some crazy shit goes down, just as it says, I'm trying to think of how I want to address this. What do you got to say, babe?
I think it's good. It's best not to get too attached to any sort of outcome, because there's always going to be somebody saying that something's going to happen on this and this and that, and whether it happens, if it happens, then you deal with whatever it is. But if it doesn't happen, you've spent and wasted so much energy and time on something that you can't control anyway. And so you either, depending if it's a positive or a negative thing, it could be something that's negative, we'll say, just for conversation's sake. And then you spend all this time worrying and stressing about something that you can't prevent from happening anyway. So it's kind of like a misuse of your time when you could be doing something to just, be more in the moment, and that helps you deal with your current life situation instead of focusing on something that you can't control. Is that?
Yeah, I agree. In both cases, case one being it's true, something crazy happens, and case two being nothing happens. In both cases, I think it's best to just not really, just kind of do your thing, man. Try to live your life and be happy. And if something crazy happens, as she said, you'll deal with that. My guess, I would be shocked personally if something really rattles the world in the next year. I don't think humanity is anywhere near ready for the kind of events that a lot of us feel, are likely to sort of transpire in our lifetime. I personally think it's way down the line, because we all know how this energy affects us, and I don't see it being very nice or helpful or productive to blast humanity with some kind of craziness. A lot of us become frustrated and indignant and impatient with people in general. So we're like, yeah, you know what? Bring it on. But I think the reality of what that is saying, I don't think a lot of us actually want that. I don't want to see the whole planet suffering immensely because something so crazy beyond what they can even conceive of is happening right before their eyes that maybe a small fraction of the light worker folks can understand and be cool with. I don't want to see that. So I just have my doubt that's going to happen. And like she said, ever since I've been going through this, there's been groups of people, not just one, saying that such and such is going to happen on such and such day. December 21st, 2012. Yeah, that was supposed to be the whole Ascension, where we literally jumped timelines, shift realities. We burned through our money. We sold our house and went through all of the money in like a freaking year. Not all of it. Basically.
But almost all of it. And then when nothing happened, at least in our reality, nothing happened, then he was like devastated for days. And I just had to be like, honey, like, we gotta get over this, because we can't live this way anymore. We obviously have to be proactive now and go and move forward.
Yeah, you know what?
Because there was so much expectation on your end. I tried to remain neutral because I was like, I don't know, it kind of scared me a little bit, to be honest, to think about that. So I just kind of remained, separated from the idea. So for me, when nothing happened, I was kind of, in a way, I was sort of relieved because the unknown was made me afraid. But for him, it was very, upsetting.
Yeah, there's something I was going to say now. I forgot.
Sorry.
It's okay.
Sorry.
Oh, yeah. I think the combination of like spring into the ascension or the awakening process, where all of a sudden you start getting synchronicity and like premonitions, and your reality just kind of starts coming unglued. The combination of that with also simultaneously actually resonating with channelers and prophecies and a lot of things you might not have ever even given a second thought. The combination of that can lead to like the real belief that this might happen, because reality has already kind of been shown to you in a real way that it's not what you thought. But again, at least for me and a lot of the people I talk to, you kind of I wouldn't say it's not that life is different, like we still get synchronicity and everything, but it's not, I don't know, I've like successfully detached a little bit from like the magical fascination type of thinking, and for a while it caused me to abandon my real world responsibilities in a very serious way. So I realized that, yeah, cool, man, we're living in a crazy time. I agree. I do think big things are gonna happen. I don't really know when, but regardless, I'm gonna just accept where I'm at now in a life that I do have a good semblance of control over and influencing how it goes by just becoming like I always call it like an earth master. I'm going to become good at manifesting. I'm going to try to develop really awesome relationships, and I'm going to try to do my best to improve my now bubble to the best of my ability, and then whatever happens. It's really that simple. So that's my take on that. Anything else you want to add, love?
No.
All right, we're gonna bounce, guys. This has been quite a bumpy video. I appreciate you guys bearing with me here. Tomorrow I'll be back with a regular video. But that's it. You want to say peace, love?
Peace.
All right, bye, guys. See you soon.